All right, I'm the flat rate master, and today, a man's got to know his limitations. So we're talking about a shop and a technician understanding the limitations they have, whether it's skills or equipment. Now, first off, if you didn't get that reference, go watch the Dirty Harry series after you get done with this video. Great movies from the 70s, still great. What we're talking about is, as a technician or a shop, there's going to be points where you hit your limit. You're beyond your knowledge, and there's times where, as a technician or a shop owner, you just need to tap out. Now, what I mean by that, especially for a technician, now this video is going to mostly focus on independent shops, but there's going to be some stuff in there for the dealer guys. Because, you need to tap out at some point too and kick it up the line for engineering to help you and that kind of stuff. But we're going to focus mostly on independent shops. So as a young technician, you're going to get assigned tickets that, are going to push you a little bit. And that's fine. But, when you're doing brake jobs and all this and you get a, no crank and it's not a starter, not a battery, it's a communication problem, you're probably out of your realm of knowledge. And as that technician, you need to either figure out that I'm going to just go for this and I don't care, I want to learn, or you tap out and kick it to the guy up the line who is going to be a little more experienced. Now, I will, a little side caveat, there are a bunch of shops that anything above a brake job, there probably shouldn't be touching. So, I'm just saying. But in general, you're going to hit limits of your knowledge. Now, obviously in this business, I've said it many times. If you stop learning, you get out of the business, because this business is always about learning, always advancing your skills. And now, when I say tap out and kick it up the line, I'm not saying I'm done. I'm saying go, see if that technician will let you watch his process so you can learn, so you can educate yourself on how he does it. But, it's important to understand that you have skill limitations. Everybody does. I'm not going to say I don't. I've got limitations to my skill set as well. You need to understand that. And it's important to understand when you're above your pay grade, because, like a communication fault. You make a bad call on an ECM or something like that, the shop's on the hook for $1,000. If they're honest, they're going to eat that, even though you were wrong. If not, well, might want to work for somebody else. I get the question a lot of times, this shop won't let me advance. I'm working at a shop and all I'm doing is brake jobs and oil changes and all this, and they won't give me the chance to move up to diagnostics. The problem with diagnostic work is mistakes can be very expensive. It's really easy for you to, somebody to screw up a diagnosis, and it goes from, a bad coil to a bad PCM driver, and they got to call the customer back and go, no, the bill's going to be this much instead. That's why a lot of shops are hesitant to move guys up the line until they feel they're ready. But on that note, go to training. Every little bit of information you get as a young technician or an older technician, go to training. I just flew up to New York to go to the TST big event to watch, guys like John Thornton teach classes. Yes, I got to hang out with, Scanner Danner, Eric O, Keith DeFazio, Oz Star, Oz Mechanics, Keith Perkins, Mike Garo Salazar. His name is Mike, even though it's spelled M-I-A-C. It's Mike. Learned that when I met him. Cool dude, hung out with him. A little bit more knowledge you get, the more you're going to be not having to tap out as much. So go to training. Now on the shop end of it, this is where my role as a shop foreman is I have to make that call a lot. This car comes in, our tooling is not capable of doing that, i.e. security issues on a lot of different cars. Nissan, there's only so much we can do on Nissan, only so much we can do on Volkswagen, Audi. So we have to make the call on it. Do we go further to the point where we get to the point where we're limited by our tooling, have to call on a mobile guy, or tap out after we've got a lot of time and maybe parts invested? Or, do we just say it needs to go to the dealer, or it needs to go to a specialist that has the factory tool that we don't have, etc. As an independent shop, our resources are limited to what we have. We can pull out a J-box and, program an ECM. We might have a factory tool for this brand, but we may not have, everything we work on. That's the case here. We don't have Volkswagen Audi tool. We have, access to BMW. We have access to GM. We have access to Ford. We have, Honda, Toyota, Kia, Hyundai. But we're limited on, several makes. So if our scan tools that we have aren't capable of doing the job, we need to make the call, because we have to decide, are we going to pursue it? And then we're going to have to call a mobile guy in like Keith DeFazio or Keith Perkins to finish the job. As a shop, we have to make that decision, what's best for the shop and the customer. Because you figure, the shop has to make money. We bring in a mobile guy. The mobile guy has to make money. And, what's the better option for everybody involved? If it's, when it comes down to it, and they're better off, taking to the dealer, having them cut new keys and program them, as opposed to somebody else cutting the keys for us having to make markup on that, and then have that mobile guy come in and make keys, or have the mobile guy come in and make keys and program them. We have to make that call as a shop. The shop's got to be profitable, otherwise it ain't gonna be here. In this day and age, that's the way of the world. You can only go as far as your tooling will allow. Now there's obviously backdoor methods, and we always research those, but when it comes down to it, you got to make the call. Ultimately, is it worth us investing the customer's money into this shop when we can't finish the job, we can't do the job? So it's important as, a technician to be honest. You come out, you're like, it's looking in this direction and we can't do that. So, either you need to get the mobile guy's phone number and get them ready to come out, or we wash our hands and send it to the dealer or a specialty shop. So always important when it comes to making money in a shop. You've got to know your limitations. So I hope this was kind of informative for both the technician and the shop owner, because this is the most powerful air hammer in the world. You got to ask yourself a question. Do you feel lucky, punk? Well, do you? This is the Astro Pneumatic Big Nasty, the most powerful air hammer in the world. And you've got to ask yourself a question. Do you feel lucky? Oh. This is the Astro Pneumatic Big Nasty, most powerful air hammer. This is the Big Nasty. This is Astro Pneumatics Big Nasty, the most powerful air hammer in the world, and will take your head clean off. So you have to ask yourself a question. Do you feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? Thanks for watching. Every tech's gotta know his limit. All right, I'm the flat rate master, and today we're talking about every tech's got to understand. Every man's got to understand his limitations. A man's got to understand his limitations. Had to have a little fun.